Yeah, it's so great to see all of you. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, now the Nemuos have finally arrived over there. I'm gonna get a little bit ahead, but it's a little emotional. This is the very first time. For me, this is Convocation number 7, and all 5 of our kids are here for the very first time. So. They all love the spotlight, as you can see. They're refusing to stand, and that's okay. That's okay. I'll call upon them in a little bit here. Oh, Alicia, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So 3 years ago, we renamed this, right? We renamed this to Convocation, right? Previously, it was a general session, and of course, Convocation. They're doing that? They're doing? Oh, okay. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay. Okay. All right. These shoes were a gift from my brother. They have a box, a case, if you will. Alicia Brennan would understand that. And if I lose one of these little crystals, please return it to me. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah. I am extremely proud to serve as the 10th president of Joliet Junior College. So, thank you. So while I aspire to wear these multiple times, this might be the first and last time I ever wear these things. They're that special to me. So shout out to my brother who really did well. Nailed it with the birthday. So back to, is that how it's going to be the whole night? Let's go back to the slides. Okay. So back to the word convocation, right? Really, the word itself carries a sense of ceremony, and it really captures this sense of shared purpose and community, and really more closely aligns with what this event is all about. We'll be doing a lot of celebrating today, celebrating our successes, and looking ahead with collective energy. And my hope is this for today, if there is an overall theme, my hope is today will be a reminder of the importance of our work. And I referenced being thankful. I don't know that I could capture into words how grateful I am to be the president of the nation's very first community college. Starting my 4th year, I've had several obsessions over these past 3 years. The student experience, certainly, that we're deeply embedded in the communities we serve. One of those obsessions, and in fact, many of those obsessions have turned into initiatives that have altered the trajectory of thousands of lives, propelled us to the forefront of state and national conversations, all of those things. But one of the obsessions, and my hope is you feel this and will continue to do so, and continue to see artifacts of this all around, my focus has been on you, the employee experience. I know how important you are to changing the lives of our students, to strengthening the communities we serve. And while this may sound a little dramatic, for those of you who've heard me speak multiple times, making our world a better place through this great gift that we possess. For so many prominent people, they got their start at their local community college. Let's start with Eileen Collins, the first female shuttle commander at NASA. Started at Corning Community College before Steve Jobs revolutionized technology and mobile computing. Steve Jobs started at De Anza College, part of the De Anza Foothills system in California. Before Tom Hanks was Tom Hanks, he started at Chabot Community College. The next Eileen Collins could be studying in our science labs this academic year. The next Steve Jobs could be a cyber wolf learning cybersecurity and technology in our recently remodeled and renovated state-of-the-art technology labs at the Romeoville campus. The next Tom Hanks could be on stage at a production in our theater this year. Amy Tan went on to write the Joy Luck Club that was converted into one of the most popular movies of the 90s, really giving a voice to the Chinese American experience. The next Amy Tan could be studying composition and literature, could have their very first work published in the Word Eater this academic year, right here at Joliet Junior College. Walt Disney started at Metropolitan Community College, formerly known as Metropolitan Junior College. The next Walt Disney could be roaming the halls of the J Building, trying to find their way, not knowing what to do or where to go. The next Walt Disney could be mentored by our fine arts faculty. Before Queen Latifah was a cultural icon, she studied at the Borough of Manhattan Community College. The next Queen Latifah could be in our music program this year. Before Guy Fieri and his crazy hair, before he was a TV personality and famous restaurateur, he studied at American River College. The next Guy Fieri, the next celebrity chef could join our celebrity chefs at the City Center, working in Thrive and Savour this academic year. Holly Berry got her start at Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College. The next Holly Berry could be on stage this year, right here at JJC. And before Clint Eastwood was Clint Eastwood. Before Morgan Freeman was Morgan Freeman. Each of them started studying acting at Los Angeles City College. Before Arnold was Arnold. Before he rose to fame in Hollywood and became the governor of California and signed my master's degree at San Diego State University, by the way. Before Arnold was Arnold, he got his start at Santa Monica College. Before George Lucas ever thought of Star Wars, he studied at Modesto Junior College. The next George Lucas could be working on a project this year as part of Wolfpack Productions. Our students will be prominent people one day, and I offer this as proof. Now let's zero in on our community. Multiple times a week, and this has happened to me hundreds of times. Multiple times a week, I hear the question, aren't you the president of JJC? I could be at Mariano's, I could be at Jewel, I could be at a car wash. Multiple times. And the responses that follow, not a single one of them, in those hundreds of interactions, not a single one of them has been negative. Every single story has been positive. And the stories that follow, that question, aren't you the president of JJC? The stories that follow are about you. They're about Juan. They're about Jim. They're about Colleen and Disability Services. They're about Julio and nursing. They're about Brian Fruits. They're about Master Chef Tim Bucci being a real teddy bear secretly. The stories that follow are about you. Every single week, whether you're in front of a classroom, greet students at the door, helping them in their lab, the stories are about you. 3 years ago, I promised that we'd have something to capture all of those stories. And 3 years later, we have dozens of stories. Stories to inspire this generation and the next. Stories from Mike Mutterer. Stories from Alicia Brennan, Joe Lyman, and Tammy Miller. Stories from Dr. Mitchell. Stories from Julie Barr. Stories from some of the most prominent people in our community who point to their time at JJC as critical and essential to their success. I want to take a moment to acknowledge everyone who made this wild idea possible 3 years ago and has turned it into this really cool initiative with dozens more stories in the queue. I just came up with this. We're going to call them the R&B Committee. How about anyone who had anything to do with Roots and Branches? If you're able to do so, will you please stand to be recognized? That includes those of you who've been interviewed, by the way. Oh, they're shy. Okay, they're shy. There's Alicia Brennan. I've been looking for you. Right? Thank you. Thank you, R&B Committee. And with that, let's hear from Caroline.
But the career service opened the door and made this contact with this company called Sentinel Technologies. And I was picked to do this internship, and it was great because there was like thousands of applicants. And I was 100% sure, as being a girl in a, male dominant field, I was like, maybe that's not gonna happen, especially as an immigrant with an accent and everything. But they gave me the opportunity, and I'm enjoying so much right now. As a foreign, we don't have many people here. Like most of my classmates, they have friends from high school and everything. And for me, it was like, nope, I don't know anyone. So I have to get involved as much as I can if I want to be singing, if I want to connect with people. So that's why I also started looking for extra activities that I could get involved with. And that was the honors program, for example. I wanted to connect with people, new people, and there's a lot of foreign students with the honors as well. And that was a great opportunity to network with them, and we help each other. And that was when everything changed for me. Because like in college, of course it's great that you make the assignments and you do your exam and you study. And I would say that the class here, the program, the cybersecurity program here, it's really strong. And with my work that I'm doing right now as a threat hunter analyst, it's exactly what Professor Stan puts in our assignments. We just have to pay attention. I would say like it's great, the program is awesome. But really putting myself out to extra activities also, it's what I think changed my mindset and also changed my career, I would say. Because having just like a certificate and just a major, it's not that it's not enough, but I think the difference, and also the reason why I believe why I got the internship was because I'm not afraid to expose myself and to talk and, to look stupid and be vulnerable. And just, behind your computer, that's not gonna happen, and you won't have the opportunity to do that. So you have to put yourself out there. I won't stop until maybe I get a PhD. I don't know. That depends, my working situation, if I can afford it or not. But I had all those questions when I started here at JJC, and here I am close to graduate, right? So I think everything's possible. But yeah, I think that's what I want. Just still curious. I don't want to just be comfortable. I want to be curious. I want to keep going. And as much as people are helping me right now open doors, I want to do that someday for someone.
Caroline, will you join me on stage? Yeah. I know there's so much to unpack there. First of all, congratulations on all of your success. I cleared this beforehand, by the way. This is not a complete surprise to her. First of all, thank you yeah, okay. I gave her at least 4 or 5 minutes of a heads up. We're also very proud of you and the rest of the honors students. I want to thank you for the courage it took to say yes, to share your story. There were so many pieces in there that I think could be extracted and shared with future generations of students, many of our current students. So I'm just curious, if you were to, perhaps it's something that you didn't share in your video, with our humanity in mind, right? With our humanity in mind, what's some advice that you would give future students at JJC?
I think I mentioned actually in the video, I would say just be curious. Sometimes we are behind our desk, behind our computer, and we look at our professors or the staff here at JJC, and sometimes we think they are so far from us, but actually they are not. On my first semester here, actually, I lost my mom for a very strong cancer, and every professor, everyone showed me like so much compassion to keep me going. And 1.5 years later, I am here, right, with a really high GPA, and I had the opportunity to achieve so many great things with a new job. I worked with JJC, I worked with the career service, I worked with the media team, and also Professor Stan always offered me help and pushed me to do great things and to also expose myself out there. So don't feel like you have to just be closed in your head, and if you need help, look for someone. Everyone here is always offering help, always open to help, and very approachable. So stay curious and talk to your professors, talk to the staff, and everyone will help you find a great opportunity for you, or a better way to resolve your problem. So
wonderful. How about a hand for Caroline? Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you. Congratulations to you. And yes, Professor Stan, we heard our incredible faculty doing amazing things. I want to take just a trip down memory lane here. I do want to ask, we'll see if they abide, we'll see if they comply. Will my 5 children please stand up? Please. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Oh, they're listening. Okay. So at the bottom of the bio on the president's page, it claims that I have 5 extraordinary children. I offer you proof of said 5 extraordinary children. Emil is 22 and studied in Kyrgyzstan for a little bit. proficient in Russian. We can't understand what she's saying, but if anyone in the audience speaks Russian, will you come and have a conversation here with Emil, a graduate of Arizona State University's Barrett Honors College? Charlotte just got back from Taiwan. She is halfway through her studies at Creighton University. She's in the ROTC program. When she graduates from Creighton, she'll go into officer candidate school, and she will dedicate the following 8 years to the US Army. She was in Taiwan to study Mandarin. So if anyone speaks Mandarin, you will be amazed at Charlotte's Mandarin proficiency. Kainoa is entering the 6th grade, proudly entering honors math and honors English. Good job, Kainoa. You're 11 now. It seems like you're going on 25 sometimes, but when I started here, you were just 8 years old. Our 2 older boys, Micah and Keikoa, you can tell them apart because Keikoa is the one that always smiles. And Micah's always, oh, we got a smile out of Micah. Thank you. Okay, mission accomplished. Everybody can go home now. The boys are currently in the middle of a cross-country road trip in a van that they remodeled themselves, ripped out all the equipment, built a set of tables and cots back there. They've checked off, started in San Diego, they've checked off 22 out of the 28 continental states, and I'm so thankful that they planned it in a way that they could be here with us today. So, children, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And you may think I'm, leaving one person of my family out here. I'm not. But I am trying to get to the next slide here. 3 years ago, I issued 2 unplanned presidential directives. Does anyone recall what those 2 unplanned presidential directives were?
Have Jason Momoa visit campus.
Wow. The first was a ban on Jason Momoa. Yeah, okay, you remember that now? Yeah. The second was, does anyone remember? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I mean, these are presidential priorities, people. They're extremely important. Yes, I did issue a ban on pineapple on pizza. Jokingly, at the time, but not a single piece of pineapple has been served on pizza at JJC. I'm here with a very special announcement. I am hereby lifting the ban on pineapple on pizza at Joliet Junior College. You may all, okay, thank you. I know you're reluctant to clap. It's okay. Charlotte fed me pineapple on pizza for the very first time, which is why we will now have pineapple on pizza in the cafeteria once again. The only caveat, of course, is that you cannot call it Hawaiian pizza, because Hawaiians don't put pineapple on their pizza. I am also here to make a very special announcement about the second presidential ban, Tiana. I am hereby affirming the ban on Jason Momoa. Yeah, I am affirming the ban on Jason Momoa. Tiana, will you please stand and... Yeah, Jason Momoa will never be allowed on campus. And if you're wondering why and weren't here 3 years ago, it's a memory that's too painful for me to share, but feel free to ask Tiana all about it at the picnic, where we will feature pineapple on pizza. Boy, Future Wolves has exceeded my wildest expectations. An assignment that was given to Escortina and Christy has really blossomed, flourished, and grown into an incredible initiative that this year served Joliet District 86, Troy, Fairmont, and Manuka. Nearly 100 campers this year, 2 weeks rather, participating in a series of activities. If you had anything to do with Future Wolves, and I know there are 50 of you out there who volunteered for this, if you had anything to do with Future Wolves, will you please, if you're able to do so, stand and be recognized? From our faculty who taught classes to our group leaders, I guess, who walked kindergartners around campus, thank you. We've created something really special, so much so that Constellation is now a sponsor of our Future Wolves initiative, and next year, ExxonMobil will have written us a bigger check to be a sponsor of Future Wolves. And the camps are just part of the initiative. We now have, or will very soon have, 2 mobile planetariums. You all will recall that last year we all got the Future Wolves experience. Many of you had an opportunity to experience a constellation show in that mobile planetarium set up in the corner there. We will now have 2 of those. Those 2 mobile planetariums set up in gymnasiums across those 4 districts, or cafeterias across those 4 districts. 10,000 students this year, ages from kindergarten through 5th grade, 10,000 students will experience a constellation show in one of those mobile planetariums. So Future Wolves team, good job. So for those of you, and I want to take a moment here to acknowledge those who have joined us since the last convocation. If this is your first fall convocation and new to JJC, will you please stand to be recognized? All right, new to JJC. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. That's right, Dr. Brooks. That's right. Okay. Yeah, thank you all so much. I'm sure what you'll find what many of us have come to realize is that JJC is really an incredible place. Met with our new faculty yesterday and sent several messages. Most notably that here at JJC, and for those who've been here a while and heard me say this, apologies, but I think it's an important element of being part of this team, is that we intend to honor your full and complete identities. That at JJC, you're more than just IT technicians, financial aid technicians, VPs, deans. You're more than just biology majors, nursing majors. You're more than auto students, welding students, ag students. You're full and complete human beings, and we get that, and we want to honor that. But we want to prove that to you in a variety of ways. And as I shared with our faculty yesterday, you will then, of course, re-gift that to our incredible students, and they will feel honored and celebrated in the same way. Today will be, and I asked Caroline this, to highlight her humanity, and she did just that. You know, we're going to spend some time later, and I'll need about as many volunteers that will fit on that blue line there, so maybe 100 of you, just make note. A few years ago, about a year and a half ago, we initiated the Design Thinking Challenge. We started actually here, of course. One of my favorite pictures is Escortina measuring that structure there with Bonnie and Alicia right behind, supervising. I think Audrey and Michelle are there supervising as well, looking along nervously. But really to introduce a set of tools and a framework that could help us do all these big things. A year ago, we received 33 project submissions. 8 of them were presented to Cabinet, and 5 of them were funded. And some are still in development. Robin Ballard and Abba Thoman worked together to create virtual wolf tracks 360, creating 360 immersive experiences for potential students. Casey and Helen combined their proposals and are working on an immersive, engaging, virtual learning and design thinking lab or design den. Stephen's working to move us forward in the esports world. Kyriakos is moving us forward with open educational resources to save our students a lot of money. And some guy named Pat Van Dyne came to Cabinet with a programs showcase decals. And that's the one I'd like to focus and feature now.
Yeah, 'cause the players wanna play, and my haters gonna hate, I'm just gonna shake, I shake it off, I shake it off. Heartbreakers gonna break, and the fakers gonna fake it. I'm just gonna shake, I shake it off, 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 I shake it off.
Okay, first of all, Hank, good job with the video. All right. So since this, we'll be rolling out a few more of these. So I saw Vet Tech really nodding and clapping along over there. We'll be rolling these out elsewhere as well. But Vet Tech, actually what you'll see is there's been more progress for science faculty and your science staff as well. We've installed some additional details. But now we don't have blank slates on the outside of our buildings. The decals actually showcase what goes on inside. We're really proud of that. So thank you, Pat, for moving us forward in this area. And of course, to our marketing team as well for making all of this cool stuff happen. On Friday, Dr. Farmer will lead the college community through another strategic plan update, demonstrating great progress that we've made in each one of these critical areas. And over the next couple of years, we'll be winding down this strategic plan that has been our guiding document for the past 2-3 more years. And we'll hopefully call upon all of you to engage in the process to create a new strategic plan. But I want to go back a little bit because I want to announce round 2 of the Design Thinking Challenge. Last year, we allocated $100,000 in support of the Design Thinking Initiative. This year, we're doing the same. The application process will be very similar out of the President's office. There'll be a form to follow in the follow-up communication to this event here. Whether we fund 5 $20,000 projects, 10 $10,000 projects is really up to all of you. But my hope is that you will participate in this process, you will share in this vision, but I really want to focus on one thing. One of the obsessions I've had, and I've shared this in different venues, higher education in the future will look drastically different than what it does today. And here at JJC, we've got pockets of innovation that are exceptional and extraordinary. Virtual learning labs in nursing. Many of you using AI to advance and create more immersive educational learning experiences. And the list goes on and on and on. When our students walk in that door or click a button to apply, to when the time they walk across this very stage, my hope, my expectation, it is my strong desire that we revolutionize the student life cycle in ways that other community colleges, other higher education education institutions might never have considered or thought of. Let us use this great and unique asset that is the nation's very first community college to push us to the forefront of creating the future systems of higher education. Under the focus on crafting an intentional student life cycle, and we'll send this out so there's no need to take a picture or take notes, strengthening the pipeline, right? We want to increase first-year retention for our students. We want to increase access to advising. And mind you, we've done some incredible work in these areas by adding advisors and student success coaches over the last few years. We want to close equity gaps for students that struggle here at JJC. We want to continue to provide quality mental health services that honor our students' full and complete identities. And ultimately, we want to increase RPC, retention, persistence, and completion. So I hope you'll join us on this journey. I want to introduce two special guests here from Leggett Architects, and really just want to spend some time thanking all of the individuals on this list. I want to thank Pat and Josh for leading this effort. 17, 18 years ago, and some of you may have been around for this, the college took on the enormous task that this group will take on once again, master facilities planning process. And as a result of the master facilities planning process all those many years ago, we now have state-of-the-art health profession center. We now have state-of-the-art science labs. We now have the building that we're all sitting in right now. We have expanded labs at the Romeoville campus. We have an incredible city center with our world-class culinary. So if you don't think this process is important, you may be mistaken. And what I'm hoping is that when called upon to do so, that you will contribute in a meaningful way, because this is also part of creating future systems, structures, and facilities in higher education. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the individuals responsible for that catchy jingle there. our partners with Leggett Architects. Michael, Sylvia, will you stand to be recognized, please, so people know who you are? We've engaged Leggett Architects to help us through this process. We're going to take we're going to do a little bit of an activity here, and along with the activity, it's going to be a little bit of a technical aspect to it, but I'm going to need as many volunteers, and students are not able to volunteer for this because I'd like you to observe this activity. Okay. So I need at this point, I'm going to volunteer the cabinet. I'm also going to volunteer Jason Momoa's favorite fan as well. If you all would line up on the blue line, kind of disperse yourselves, and I need as many volunteers who will fit on that blue line, and if you're willing to volunteer, please stand, line up in that blue line facing the audience. Thank you. I promise it won't be too painful. And as you're doing that, I want to offer two things. Number one, there are so many of us today. So what I'd like you to do is meet someone who is a stranger. Meet someone you've never met before. Don't avoid eye contact with them. Meet one person you haven't met today. Lead the way, Eric. Kyriakos, lead the way. Meet one person you have not met today. Julio did it. There you go. All right. Casey, you already know Nathan. You already know Nathan. You've got to meet someone else. All right. I've always wanted to do this activity. Now, many of you know my background in cybersecurity. And for me, this joke will never get old. If IT ever needs a Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator in Windows 2000, look no further. And my technology background has really helped. Oh, we have too many of them. What should we do? That's okay. We'll swing down that way. Will everyone sort of move down this way a little bit? You'll just need to be shoulder to shoulder. So most of you are familiar with that. I don't talk a lot about the research I did at the University of Arizona. I was fortunate enough to study at the Center for the Study of Higher Education in Tucson, Arizona, at the University of Arizona. And a lot of my research was really focused on our students' experience, their humanity, right? And the study of higher education is really a branch of sociology, if we're being really technical and specific. So I want to talk a little bit about the sociological impacts of what we do. And I want you to consider under the umbrella of honoring our students' full and complete identities, I want you to consider their humanity. Oftentimes we talk about who our students are, what they've been through, any trauma they might have experienced, any tragedy that they might have experienced. And because of all of you, that trauma and tragedy turns into triumph. Through all the supports that you provide them, whether you're in facilities or IT or in the cyber lab or on and on and on, every single one of you is important to our students' success, regardless of your role. Because those stories that I referenced earlier, the stories about you, they're not always about classroom experiences. In fact, many times, they are about what you all probably think was not a big deal and not a big interaction. But because you addressed and saw our students, that you prioritize them as human beings, it's those seemingly minor, minuscule interactions that could mean the world. Just a show of hands, how many of you have done a privilege walk exercise before? Okay, good. So you all know what you're in for. The vast majority have not. How about the audience? Could you raise your hand again? A few of you. Good. Good. And my hope is this cascades. This exercise So from a sociology standpoint, sociologists like Emile Durkheim, for example, Pierre Bourdieu, and others have got us thinking about the systems and structures of society. Important structures like housing, important structures like education, correctional institutions, systems and institutions in society. Those same researchers really challenged us to understand societal norms. What's expected of us in places and spaces where we don't necessarily feel like we belong. Those structures oftentimes compete with what we want to do in this world, what we want to accomplish, whether it's getting the job, whether it's graduating from college, whether it's going to college, period. And that's when agency sets in. That's when resilience matters. And that's when grit can turn trauma into triumph. So here are the instructions. What I'll ask all of you to do, and some of this may be a bit personal. Here's what I'll ask, actually, because I don't think this is going to work back here. Dave, can we take, actually from Aaron, Dane, Josh, can you all lead the group to line up on that line back there? Yeah. Whoever's on the back wall here, thank you for volunteering, but I'd like you to line up on that wall. It's going to be tough, but that's okay. So the instructions are this. I'm going to read a set of prompts that I've designed to be JJC specific. And some of them may be sensitive, and so if they're sensitive, you need not step forward or backward. You can just stay right there. But if the prompt applies to you in a positive way, then I'd like you to take one step forward. If the prompt or the question applies to you in a negative way, then I'd like you to take one step backward. If the prompt applies to you not at all, or if you prefer not to respond, then stay right there. Everybody ready? Okay. Growing up, I had access to technology. Growing up, I had access to technology. Growing up, I had someone there to help me with my homework. At least one of my parents graduated from college. While in high school, I had to work to help support my family. I felt encouraged to attend college or pursue higher education. At times, I've felt like I am the only one in the room who shares my background or my identity. At JJC, I've had a mentor or someone who championed my growth at work. I've had to code switch or alter how I present myself in professional settings. I've never had to worry about a safe place to sleep at night. I've had to choose between paying bills and paying for something important. I have been treated unfairly by a system because of who I am. I have had someone help me navigate a difficult system. I've had people in my life who listen and support me when I'm going through hard times. I can talk openly about my family, my identity, my culture at work without fear. I've seen people like me represented in leadership positions. I've bounced back stronger from a personal or professional failure. I've used my own challenges to help support someone else at work or in life. I've created or improved something that makes work better for others. And I believe that every person at JJC has something valuable to offer. How did it make you feel stepping forward or backward as you consider and reflect on how your experiences could resemble, mirror the experiences of our students? Take a quick peek at the look around you, at the people around you. And I want to challenge the audience to really think about how we can use what we've learned today to create a more inclusive and supportive community for these students who are watching right now. How about a hand for our volunteers? Thank you. Let's focus on structure versus agency. I missed Max Faber. He's another one who did a lot of work around individual action and agency. At the end of today, I'll offer everyone the opportunity to sign up to get a book called Evicted. It's about one of those social structures, and in many cases, you might argue it has nothing to do with what we do here at JJC, but it really helped me understand that the world may not always be just, and the world may not always be fair. But as I've told our nursing graduates at nearly every pinning, you can be, right? You can be. Now, a lesser-known native Hawaiian pseudo-sociologist also once told me to never be normal. That's my mom. Hey, Mom. We have made some strategic organizational changes. I just wanted you all to know about them. Subtle changes. Some divisions were not affected at all. Some were. The campus police, for example, now reports to the Office of the President. Human Resources and our compliance office now report to Dr. Farmer because she has not enough things to do. Although as a little bit of a shift, we did take our information technology division and move them closer to finance and administrative areas, working very closely with Karen Kissel. And our Entrepreneurship and Business Center was pulled from Academic Affairs and now works in our newly named Office of Inclusive Excellence and Advocacy, which I know is a lot, but really captures Escortina, what you all do. I'm very proud that under my leadership and under Escortina's direction, we've allocated additional positions, additional resources, and your area has grown considerably. We do more now in your space than ever before, and it's certainly a point of pride. All right. Let's embarrass all of our new Crawford Honors College students. Will the Crawford Honors College students please join me on stage? Okay. As they're coming up here, I just want to take a moment again to acknowledge our Honors College staff, leadership, and faculty who ultimately will make this experience as meaningful as we hope it will be. So to our Honors College staff and faculty, will you stand to be recognized and just give a quick wave, making all of this happen? Thank you so much. Okay, so this is going to be a fun one. From Coal City to Germany. From Dwight to Italy. From Morris to Botswana. From Lincoln Way to Manuka. From Providence to Lockport. From Plainfield to Joliet Central and Joliet West. I proudly present to you the inaugural class of the Crawford Honors College. No pressure, no pressure. Everyone go do great things, okay? Go do great things. Thank you for joining me on stage, everyone. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. And my hope is that your experience will be truly meaningful. Our honor students will be engaged in research through our faculty, and we will be doing some pretty cool things. I want to let the college community know we have not given up on our big dreams to expand our presence in Grundy County. It hasn't been easy. We've had some stops and starts, but if we're going to do big things rarely are easy. Over the summer, we did come to terms with a prominent farming family in the city of Morris to acquire. How many of you, just a quick question, how many of you have a meaningful connection to Grundy County? Show of hands. Okay, that's a lot of you. We did come to preliminary terms with a prominent family in Morris to acquire 15 acres of their property. We're in the process of doing our due diligence. This is not a short-term project. This is a project that's going to last decades into the future, and we want to be sure that despite those temporary preliminary terms, that it's a good space for us. So we're going through all the entitlements for those of you involved in building, phase 1 and then phase 2 feasibility to determine whether that's indeed the right spot for us. I want to thank everyone who's been connected to this project thus far. We're continuing to move forward and hope to offer programs in workforce development, career technical education, healthcare, along with a full suite of not only general education courses, but a full suite of student supports there as well. 3 years ago, I got on stage and told a story of what my parents have done to make me even possible. And to honor them, we announced the creation of the Nemuo Family Endowed Scholarship for first-generation students. Oh, where did Sadie go? Oh, no. And since then, Tiana and I, of course, have fulfilled our commitment, but a funny thing happened. My parents, to honor their own legacy of struggle and sacrifice, and by the way, privilege walk, their backs would have been up against that wall right there because they had nothing, absolutely nothing. Struggled through every adversity you can think of to give my brother and I a good life and to honor them, a better life, and to honor them, we created the Nemuo Family Scholarship for first-generation students. But a funny thing happened. You all somehow believed in this as well and found ways to support this endowed scholarship that in just 3 years has grown to nearly $90,000. And we've been able to, thank you, Ilana, thank you. We've been able to award a total of 6 scholars. Last year, you met Richmond, who jogged down the middle aisle here. And I want to introduce you to Zaylee, Willetta, Sadie, and Brianna, the next 4 Namuo scholars. And Tiana and I read, not all of them, just the finalists, because Christy and her team had to go through 100 applicants to get down to the final 4. But I want to share with you, if you got a tissue in hand, now's the time to pull it out. The stories that our scholars shared connected directly to the activity that many of you participated in. And here's some of them. Zaylee wrote that she's determined to break generational cycles. And she's determined to build a better future for herself and the legacy of her mom, who never got a chance to create it for herself. And for the very first time, she found peace in a place that she once wanted to escape, full of trauma and tragedy, but it was you. Staff and students here at JJC welcomed Zaylee with open arms and reminded her she doesn't have to run away to move forward. Sadie's story is somewhat similar. She wanted to be different. She wanted to be something. She wanted to get everything she ever longed for and wanted to show the people that greatness could come from nothing. She's not doing this for just herself. She's doing this for her family name, for the hope of the poor, and to advocate for those who succeeded through failure. How about a hand for the next round of Namuo scholars? For those who volunteered of the 3rd annual afternoon of service, thank you. There'll be groups supporting the Alzheimer's Association, Habitat for Humanity, Morning Star Mission, and our very own Student Wellness Center down at the lower level of J. The support that we provide our community is so extremely important. I don't want you to miss it. In the spring, we talked a little bit about the federal government. A few more comments about how we now see politics turning into policy and legislation turning into practice and regulations. Despite that, there still continues to be a bit of uncertainty. Know that as an administration and as a leadership team, we continue to fight for what is right, what is just, and what aligns with the core values of Joliet Junior College. We have had some wins for now. Workforce Pell Grants have been approved. Now, it'll be a while till they're rolled out, as the legislation needs to turn into actual regulations. The federal government took the step to close the gap associated with federal Pell. And about a year ago, I talked about the potential impact to our students that expanded eligibility meant that instead of distributing $9 or $10 million in federal financial aid, we now distribute closer to $12 million in federal financial aid. More students get it, and each student gets more as a result of the transition from expected family contribution to student aid index. We'll continue to fight to protect what's important to JJC. Yet the cycle of uncertainty persists. This year, and certainly the team and SSS knows this, that there continue to be threats to programs that benefit our first-generation students and our disabled students. Across the board, cuts could be nearly $1 billion. Over the summer, all the community colleges in the state received word that TRIO grants would be renewed, but not for the normal time period, for just 1 year. And I need the TRIO team to understand the work you do is important. We value the services and supports you provide the students who need it most, and we're fighting for you because the impact to JJC is nearly $1 million to support our TRIO grants. The impact to federal work study, while on a macro level, is close to $1 billion. The impact is dozens of jobs for our students who support what we do. So we will continue to do this. I want to send a big shout out to Dr. Farmer for assembling a cross-functional team with the name Federal Funding Task Force. Really exciting name there, Dr. Farmer. The Federal Funding Task Force meets regularly and are working hard to protect all those things that we care deeply about. So while you've most likely heard threats to elite universities like Columbia, like Northwestern, University of Chicago, and Harvard, know that JJC is well positioned for a variety of different reasons to neutralize some of these threats to what we do. The book's called Evicted. And in the follow-up email, click a link. We'll have one sent to you. I'm not really sure how Kelly Rogers does it. She waves a magic wand and it just happens. We'll make it available in whatever format that works for you, whether digital, audio, or analog as well. Poverty and Profit in the American City. I certainly don't want you to miss the welcome picnic, because the welcome picnic is upon us, and any of the incredible academic updates. I hear there's going to be a session on neurodiversity. I'm really happy to hear that. Ice cream social, strategic enrollment management plan update, and of course, the update from Dr. Farmer I referenced earlier. Earlier this year, someone sent this to me. I believe I know who it is. I have posted it with pride in my office. For those of you in the back, it reads, "So this is JJC," and it has Jason Momoa eating a piece of pizza with pineapple on it. And then someone stole it from my office, and I recently discovered it on Tiana's dresser. And with that, I hope you all have an incredible academic year. Thank you all so much for what you do and being a part of Joliet Junior College.